It was an interesting night. I think we saw a little bit of everything. Some great fights. Paulie Malignaggi sizzled the stadium, the venue again with his speed, his combinations. Was an exciting, thrilling performance. Clearly a man to reckon with at the 147-pound weight class, and I think he is ready to go and take on anyone at 147. I know it's not because of him. It's some of these other guys who don't want to fight him, because I know he is ready to take on just about anyone, and we are going to do whatever we can to get Paulie that world championship, that world title shot sometime next year. So please give a warm applause to Paulie Malignaggi.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it seemed like an eventful fight. I think I gotta learn to start a little faster. It seems like my last couple of fights, I gotta get hit in order to get into my groove, and it's something like I want to start cutting out, man. I felt like, I don't know, maybe I didn't realize I was in a fight until I took that right hand, or was it even a hook? I don't even know what I got hit with in the first round, but it buzzed me a little bit, and you know, after that I realized, all right, let me stay smart and get this thing together, and that's what I did the rest of the fight, as you guys saw. Yeah, like Schaefer, Mr. Schaefer said, I'm ready for a big fight. You know, I'm so glad and so appreciative that Golden Boy not only brought me back the way they did it on TV. They did it so the world could see my fights, so that the memory of the Khan fight won't be the last time people would have seen me, and I'd be winning off TV. You know, so I can't express my gratitude in words that you know, Golden Boy Promotions and the way they've brought me back along, and you know, in a way where everyone can see my performances and judge for themselves where I'm at in my career, and if I've still got it. I feel like I still got a lot to give, and I feel like I'm ready, like Mr. Schaefer said, like for anybody at 147 pounds in the world, you know. I was talking to my team as well, and if the opportunity for a big enough fight presents itself, even back at 140, I think with the heat training in California, I may be able to get back to 140. So I want to keep my options open. I know we're talking about a welterweight tournament. I'd love to be involved in something like that. I know Devin Alexander's been mentioned. A few other fights have been mentioned for me at welterweight. Everything interests me. I love big fights. I love being part of big events. And you know, you guys know me, man. I'm a ham for the tension. But you know, even if something comes up at 140, I will keep my eyes open for that as well. And we'll see. On to the next. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Another man, I think, who had all of America cheering for him, and who came through with flying colors. I have to admit, I was a bit worried there in the first round, but I guess he was just warming up, and then he let his hands and punches fly. And I know that we all cheered there for him and were with him. That is Dewey Bozella. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dewey. 1-0. He will retire with 1-0. Undefeated. The undefeated Dewey Bozella.
Hello. I'm honored to be here tonight. First, I want to give praise to God, and to let everybody know that, you know, that was my last fight. I just wanted to know how it felt like to be a pro, and it felt real strange. You know, I think that one of the most difficult things that people misunderstand about boxing is the discipline, the morals, obligation, and responsibility it takes to be a pro. I'm 52 years old, you know. This is a young man's sport, you know, and thank you. And to have the honor of Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins for giving me a chance at his camp with Danny Davis and Ricky, you know, and Moses, and them. That was a blessing in disguise by itself. I think that I would like for everybody to know that, you know, my thing is to give back. For those who do not know, I was locked up for 26.5 years for a crime I did not commit, and I felt as though my career was taken from me when I was a kid up at Floyd Patterson boxing camp, and I strongly felt that I had a chance to win a title. somewhere along the line, because there's so many different divisions out there. And so just to have this opportunity to face the world and to be able to fight was a gift. You know, it was done through his promotion, which I want to say thank you. You know. The other thing I would like for y'all to know is that in Chicago, there was something that was done for me that was special, that a lot of people don't know. And it was done through Paulie Malignaggi. He dedicated a fight to me that people don't know anything about. And I wish they would have showed that clipping, because the man has a good heart that a lot of people don't know anything about. You know, and they just look at him like, you know, he always doing his own little thing because he's from Brooklyn, he talks a lot, but the man has a beautiful heart, you know, and I want y'all to know that. And there's a few other people that did a lot of things for me. But I would like for you to truly understand that I'm about trying to get back to the kids. I got a Dewey Bozella Foundation, and that's what it's about, man. It's about trying to save someone's kid, man, from making the mistakes that I made, thinking that hanging out in the streets and hanging out with the wrong people, you know, is going to help you out. Nah, it's not about that. It's about trying to get back and let them know, man, that life is precious, very, 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 very precious. And everybody deserves a chance. It doesn't matter what nationality or where they come from. You know, that's my thing. So I would like to thank y'all very, very much, and I, you know, want you to know, man, God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Dewey. I just want to say a few words about Dewey Bozella, of how he inspired not just people here, but everyone who watched this story. You truly are an inspiration to a lot of people. You're an inspiration to the President of the United States of America, who called him, wishing him luck. And he was actually watching the fight, so we are very proud of Dewey, and whatever we can do with your foundation and Golden Boy Promotions, we are 100% behind you. So Dewey once again showed the world that you can never, ever, ever give up. No matter what you're doing, where you come from, what language you speak, if you set your mind to something, everything and anything is possible. So thank you very much for inspiring myself and inspiring all of us. So thank you very much, Dewey.
Jorge Linares is not going to be here, and nor is Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins went to the hospital to get his shoulder checked out. But I just want to make the following comment, and then I want to pass it on to Gary Shaw. As it relates to Jorge Linares, I think he was fighting from, I don't know, 4th, 5th round on with a really bad cuts, a very bloody face. He was clearly in the fight. In fact, on the official scorecards, he was ahead 8-2 and 9-3. So he was in the fight all the time. He was punching back. He was clearly in the fight, and therefore we are going to file a protest on behalf of Jorge Linares and Golden Boy. That was a premature stoppage, and we are not going to stand for that. I think it was a poor refereeing job here in California all along tonight. I really am not impressed at all, and we do a lot of shows here, and I'm not afraid to say that, but this was horrendous, as was the Hopkins situation. I'm not going to get into details now. Our attorneys are working on a complaint with the California Athletic Commission. We're taking this very serious. Chad Dawson is not the champion. I have already been talking to Jose Suleiman, and this is not the way. We are not going to accept that, and that's all I'm going to say at this point. Thank you.
And I've heard sore losers in my time, and I like Richard a lot.
Before, let me hand you this trophy.
Thank you.
Before you say anything, let me hand you this trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, CSP! There you go, Golden Boy!
This trophy will stay in someone's house in LA. I can't afford to fly it over. Let me tell you how I feel about this night personally. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the relationship I have with Golden Boy, especially with Richard Schaefer. I've been on that side before. It sucks. And I understand what's going through his mind right now. But I said all along I had a great deal of confidence in the California Commission. I do a lot of events here, and I never thought there was a home field advantage. I'm proud of the card. I didn't win all the fights. I thought Kendall Holt would win, and he didn't. Orlando Lara, I thought had a much better shot than he did against Paulie, but Paulie took him to school. So you go through this. So while I was sitting there, for me, I was thinking about what a sucky night it's going to be and what a long flight back to New Jersey it's going to be tomorrow morning. And then Tony DeMarco, I don't know the scorecard exactly, but I believe he was down 9-1 on the cards, or 9-1, 8-2 twice. So let me tell you a little about this kid. He's got the biggest heart that you've ever seen for a small guy. He and Darchinian are in a league of their own. But he's a good kid. He has a real rough story. And I'm not gonna go into it because I know he gets emotional, but all I'll tell you is when he moved to Tijuana to get and learn boxing, he ate out of the garbage, out of dumpsters, from place to place, didn't know where he was going to sleep and didn't know where he would eat. And tonight, he's a real world champion. And I'm really proud of him. I want to tell you one other story. There came a time that Tony came up from San Diego with Romulo and his sons. And I met him in the coffee shop of a hotel. And I said to Tony, I want to give you this because I love you. I gave him $5,000 in cash. He took the $5,000, he looked at it a second time, and then handed it back to me. He said, I only want my money if I win it in the ring. I don't want you to ever give me anything. So that's who Tony DeMarco is. So he's up here with his beautiful daughter. Romulo, who's over here, to me, is one of the most unheralded trainers in the world, bar no one. His two sons over here that work with him, Poppy loves you. And I took DeMarco to Mexico to fight Valero in the last fight before he killed himself and he killed his wife. And it was a rough night for Tony DeMarco, but he swore he would come back. So it's my pleasure now to introduce my 135-pound world champion, not interim, not naval, but the WBC world champion, who I believe gave you the thrill of the night in his great knockout or stoppage of Linares. Tony, come on up here.
Bueno, no tengo palabras. Primero que nada, muchas gracias a todos los aquí presentes.
Well, hi to everybody. First of all, I have no words for everybody here in attendance.
Y honestamente les digo que esta noche es la segunda noche más linda de toda mi vida después del nacimiento de mi hija.
And honestly, I have to tell you, this is the second day happiest of my life just after the born of my daughter, Camila.
Y la verdad, esto es como los cuentos de hadas, de dormir en la calle a ahora ser campeón del mundo.
This is like a fairy tale story. After eating the garbage, now I'm a world champion.
Esta noche se cumplió mi sueño.
This night, my dream come true.
De corazón les digo, nunca dejen de luchar por sus sueños y de corazón les deseo a cada uno de ustedes que se les cumpla el sueño más deseado de toda su vida. Este fue el mío.
From the bottom of my heart, I'm begging you, never stop fighting for your dreams. Tonight, my dream come true.
Muchas gracias a todos. Que Dios los bendiga. Gracias.
Thanks to everybody and God bless.
I just want to introduce just a couple of people real quickly, because behind every good man there's a special woman. And right over here in between two of Romulo's sons is Romulo's wife. I don't know, they've been married I don't know how many years, but she's there. And this is Antonio DeMarco's wife sitting here. Stand up, let him see the happy wife tonight. Your husband's the world champion. And I thank, obviously, my wife, who puts up with all my travels and puts up with boxing, which is the nuttiest sport in the whole world. On a serious note, I want to say something to all you men out there. You know, this is breast cancer month. If you notice, some of the fighters fought in pink gloves and we had pink cushions and whatever. But I want to say something to all the men out there. I am a cancer survivor. Prostate cancer kills hundreds of thousands of people. You don't have to die because of prostate cancer. It's a simple blood test. It's called a PSA. You take it, you get a level. It saved my life, and it might save yours. If you're 40 years or older, make sure you take the test. If you're not 40 years old, tell a cousin, an uncle, a relative, or someone. It's really important, guys. Everybody's wearing pink for the ribbons for the women. Nobody's wearing shit for you guys. I'm telling you, get the test, or you're gonna find out you're in deep trouble, or some relative is in deep trouble, and it's only a blood test. And then the only other public service I want to say, because it's kind of close to my own home. We got to fight drugs. We got to fight alcohol abuse. We got to fight drug abuse in our kids. They die needlessly on the streets. We got to stop steroids in boxing. We got to stop drugs in the schools. We got to stop bullying in the schools. We need really to better get along and take care of everyone else. I thank you for indulging me. Well, I'd like to speak for about the next 30 hours on the guy to my left. First, I want to introduce someone to you who is in line to fight Chad Dawson, and he doesn't even know it. And his name is Jean Pascal. Stand up, Jean, so we all can see you and remember you. He's used to that because we got the same greeting in Canada, so I thank you for letting him feel at home. Winky had a great camp. There was a lot to be made out of him changing trainers to a new trainer. And John Scully, the gentleman that you see to his left, is not a new trainer. Where everybody was confused, it's actually an old trainer. It's someone that knew Chad, had trained Chad, and Chad was very, very comfortable with. So the story, so you all get it right, with Emmanuel Stewart, is Emmanuel didn't want to go to Pennsylvania to camp, Chad didn't want to go to Detroit, and therefore we had to get a new trainer. That's all, that's the whole story. There's nothing more to it. He had a great camp. He had Axel back in his camp, and Raphael, and John was just a blessing in disguise that Chad made. The other addition we made was Winky Wright. I have to give credit to my son Jared, who called me and said, "Dad, we got to get Winky Wright in camp with Chad." And it's one of the better moves we made, because it was cohesive. You never know if when you bring different people in, if you're going to get an abrasive relationship and everything's going to go haywire and sour on you. But I can tell you that the fight actually went according to the game plan. I'm going to let Scully come up and talk for a moment. But it was to keep Hopkins on the outside with the jab. He knew he would bull rush him. Never, I don't think that they were expecting it in the first round like that. And I can tell you that Chad was truly angry in the ring when Hopkins failed to want to fight. So I'm going to tell you what he said, because he may not want to repeat it just the way he said. Get your pencils ready. Hopkins, you're a pussy. You're a pussy, Hopkins. You hear me? You're a pussy. You ain't a gangster. Because Hopkins kept saying he was a gangster. You ain't a gangster, Hopkins. Because you know why? A gangster would get up and fight. You ain't a gangster. Chad is really a great kid and soft-spoken, whatever, and I knew he'd never come up and say that or talk that way. So I wanted you to know exactly what happened. But I'm going to call John Scully up because in a lot of ways, I know how much Chad had faith in John, because when I went to camp, he said to me, I said, how you doing with Scully? How do you feel? He said, man, I listen to everything he says. If he tells me to go out and hit Hopkins with my elbow in the chest, that's what I'm going to do. So I knew that Scully had his attention. I knew he was telling him all the right things. So, John, it's a great night for you, and I don't know where your wife is in here. John Scully.
Thank you. What can I say? I mean, Chad did a great job. He boxed good. I mean, for what it's worth, it doesn't mean much, but we were clearly up 2-0. We won both the first 2 rounds kind of easily. And if anyone, this is the most important thing I'll say, if anyone on this planet says that was a boring fight, it was certainly Bernard Hopkins' fault. Chad pressed the fight. Nobody thought Chad would be able to walk him down. Bernard, from my view, did nothing. He and I think people are starting to see that. People say he's old school and all that, and I don't agree necessarily. Georgie Benton was old school, Archie Moore was old school, Ezra Charles. I mean, they didn't run away and literally limit the action so that nothing happened. That is not old school. That's just, if that was a 4-round fight, and people watch it and go, oh, that was Hopkins, he did great, he was being cagey. If that was a 4-round fight in New York City against 2 kids from New York, you know what they would say? That kid doesn't want to fight. He should quit. He should never box again. He doesn't have the heart. He doesn't have the spirit to fight. So, Chad Dawson, people said this and that, and Chad's not a fighter. And Chad walked him down. Pay attention. He walked him down. Of course, he's the champion. I mean, he walked him down. The only one trying to make a fight was Chad Dawson. So anyone that says Chad is boring, that's, he should take tonight. Tonight he was not boring. He made the fight. Any action that happened was because of Chad Dawson. And I hope everyone writes that, and I hope everyone saw that. And don't say that Hopkins was cagey. And I mean, how many? I don't know what the punch stat was. I don't know how many he threw, but he didn't throw that many. I know that much. So, right, he threw heads. And I told the referee yesterday, I said, please, I said, look at this guy. He throws, when he fought Antonio Tarver, a similar guy as Chad, stature-wise. His biggest combination was jab, right hand, headbutt. And literally, I'm not being funny, I'm not being, being comical. Jab, right hand, the top of his head. The referee in that fight did nothing. And I couldn't let that happen to Chad. He'd get a headbutt, he'd get a cut. When the referee assured me he wouldn't allow that, which the fight didn't go long enough to see what would have happened, but Hopkins wasted no time. Halfway through the first round, you watch the replay, jab, right hand, head, top of his head, he tried to hit Chad with it. So, again, give this man credit. He came to fight, and nothing that happened in that fight negative was his fault. So, thank you very much.
Good job, dude. I'd like to introduce Chad's wife. Crystal, stand up. All the other women split up. Because she and I took a real booing in Canada. So it's good to be here with fans that love us. And then 2 fighters that I just recently signed, the Dawson kids, Prince and Chance. And then one other good service message. There's a good friend of mine sitting here that just realized where he is, Bob Shapiro, the famous attorney. He's got a foundation called the Brett Shapiro Foundation for drugs. So if you got a couple extra shekels or dollars in your pocket, it's a great worthy cause, and he's a great fight fan. I know he trains, and I'm glad that you were here. And I'm glad you were sitting on the right side. So let me tell you, Richard Schaefer can say he spoke to Jose Suleiman, Mauricio Suleiman, the 800 board members of the WBC, the California Commission. This man is champion. Period. End of story. So I want to bring up the WBC world champion, and you got your ring belt back because they came over to me and asked for the address. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Bad Chad Dawson.
First of all, I want to thank my family who came out to support me, all my fans from New Haven. Even if you're not from New Haven, if you came out to support me, I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank the WBC for sanctioning the fight, and I want to thank Bernard Hopkins for making it an easy night for me. I mean, we put in me and Scully, Winky, my brother, my man G-Man, we put in a lot of work for this fight, man. I did my 8 weeks. I trained my butt off for this fight because this is a fight I've been wanting for the last 3 years. And this goes to show you why the last 3 years Bernard Hopkins has been ducking me. He didn't want a piece of me. I lost to Pascal, which was kind of controversial with a headbutt. Pascal was out on his feet. He know that. Right. Yeah, you say it all you want, but you know you was about to be done. I'm gonna finish you off. I'm gonna finish you off in the rematch. I'm sorry for the
What was your last knockout?
Hey, you lost to a 46-year-old man, brother, twice. You lost to a 46-year-old man twice. You was out on your feet, brother. You was out on your feet. You got lucky. Sit down, man. Sit down. You got lucky. Sit down with your tight pants. Sit down. You got lucky. Sit down with your tight jeans. Come on, man. Exactly. This time we're gonna do it in the U.S. Do it over here, see what happens. Anyway, I trained 8 hard weeks for this fight. I'm just happy that I'm happy I got my title back. I'm back on top. And I want to thank you all for being here. Like I said, thank my mother, my new family I just met today, Nana, Curtis and Sienna back there, Smooth, Scott X, Tezza, Nicole. I see everybody, all my family out here.
We love you, baby. Good job.
I came here to fight tonight. I don't know what Bernard thought he was gonna do, but I knew in the weigh-in yesterday Bernard did not want to fight. He said he was a gangster. I'm not a gangster. Ain't no gangsters in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm from New Haven. So he wanted to do a little research. New Haven, baby. TJ, I see you over there. All my New Haven people that came out to support me, thank you. I'm happy. I'm ready to get back to work.
Let's go.
You already know.
Let's go.
We're going to be able to make the Pascal fight because he's on the show and his promoter is standing right there. So he knows that his fighter is next on the hit list. So he doesn't have to stand up, and we know where he is, and we're going to find him. It's not going to be a problem. I'm looking for one individual in this room, and I can't see him. But at the end, be careful. My wife is there. At the end of the weigh-in on yesterday, this dude met me at the back door and just gave me lip, lots of lip, how Hopkins is going to whip Dawson's ass. So I said, I'll buy you a dinner wherever you want in this town, no matter how much money it is. And when Dawson wins, I just want you to say I was wrong. Now, I want you to know, while I was sitting there, before Dawson walked in the ring, he walked over to me from behind in the crowd. He says, I'm here, brother. Remember exactly where I am. Now, where's my brother? I don't see him. No, and you were there. There's my witness. That was my witness. I just was going to actually bring him up to say he was sorry to Dawson for thinking Hopkins could whip his ass. But let us go right to the questions. Is Winky here too?
Yes, he's in the back over there by that counter.
Winky!
Come on, Winky!
Another fighter that threw me over for Golden Boy. But he'll tell you he loves me. I'm going to let him just say a couple words and then we'll let you ask all the questions you want. You got 1 minute, Winky.
First of all, I want to thank Chad and Gary Shaw for letting me come in Chad camp and enjoy watching the champ train hard, get himself ready. He was prepared. Everybody, you know, you want to cry about, he leaned over and shoved Bernard off of him. Bernard is one of the dirtiest fighters in boxing. Bernard will hit you low, Bernard will headbutt you. He would do what it takes to win. But this man did not push Bernard down. He didn't lift Bernard up and slam Bernard down. He simply bumped him off. If anybody watch boxing, that's normal in boxing. Bernard quit. Point blank, he quit, and that's what he didn't want to fight Chad Dawson. So I just want to give the champ all the props, man. I came to camp just to have fun with him and, you know, give him a little insight. And, you know, Scully had his whole team, and the champ did what he had to do to win. And I'm glad I was there to witness. Thank you.
Last person I want to say thank you to, and I don't see him, is Herman Woodard. Herman is the attorney and advisor to Chad. Where is he? You know what makes this guy special? Exactly what you see. You don't see him. No, I mean that. I mean that. There are people that try to jump in front of the fighter and be the guy and whatever. And if there's anything that I can say about Herman Woodard, he's anything but that. He's become a real good friend of mine. We communicate. The team has never been happier, and I told everybody all along, I've never seen Chad Dawson happier than I saw him in this training camp. So I'd just like to say thank you, Herman, to you. You are special.
I want to say something. Before I got with Herman Woodard, I mean, I was kind of lost out there. You know, I mean, I was dealing with a bad trainer. I mean, a bad manager. Yes. I mean, Herman came on board and made everything smooth for me. He's a great lawyer / advisor. He does a lot of work. A lot of things people don't see, like you don't see him, you don't even know he's here because he's so quiet. But I'm gonna get him up here to say a couple of words because people need to see his face and get to know him and know because he's gonna be around for a long time.
There you go. There you go.
Dr. Berman, I see you back there too.
Better be nice about
You know what, I always tell people, somebody called and asked me a question about Chad, and what I tell them, it's his boxing skills are very obvious, right? I mean, he's a phenomenal boxer. But what people don't see is the kind of person that Chad is. Chad is about his family and his kids. And you can only box for a short period of time. But what matters in life is what kind of human being you are. So he was world champion for me before tonight. But now he's a boxing world champion again. And this is a quality man with quality talent and a beautiful family. Thank you.
He speaks so quickly, he said a lot of beautiful things about me you probably didn't catch it. But I want to thank you, Herman, it was beautiful. All right, for the press only, whatever questions you have, shoot. Do we have these mics on? We have the AV guys? Yeah, thank you.
I've seen it fight many times, fight match. Yes, you know, for this fight you fought more aggressive in the first 2 rounds. You know, talking to Don Scully, Gary, you know, you had a game plan. You know, you had your game plan going by decision over a knockdown. But can you honestly say, from your perspective, not that you're satisfied with the way?
Oh, I'm not satisfied at all. I mean, I didn't get to show the hard work we put in the camp. I didn't get to show none of that. So I'm not, nah, it's not my good performance, but I tell you what, I'll be back in the gym and hopefully we can make this Pascal fight as soon as possible. I didn't break a sweat tonight, so I'm ready to go.
Where's Mark Taffet and Kerry Davis? We need your money. Hey, it is what it is.
Chad, can you, first of all, comment about your emotion? You know, you're rarely an emotional guy, and yet this whole fight you seem like you were emotional, really fired up about the fight. And then secondly, can you describe in your own words the closing sequence of the fight?
Oh, man. I mean, we all knew Bernard wasn't going to be able to keep up that pace. He wasn't going to be able to keep running. He had old legs. I mean, those, I think he threw maybe 9 punches the whole first 2 rounds, so he wasn't going to be able to keep up with the pace. I was going to keep stalking him, and eventually I was going to start dropping the left hand on him. He knew that. So when I pushed him up, I think he was looking for a way out of the fight before the fight even started. So I mean, he's old, he's flabby. Yep. He knows for a fact, for the last 3 years he's been ducking me. Then he went and fought this guy right here. After I had him out in the 11th round. He knew he could beat this guy. He wasn't sure about me.
You were the closest one. Did you feel he landed like really hard?
He jumped. I gave him the shoulder. Everything else was just, for him, was icing on the cake. So he saw a way out of the fight. I don't know if he thought they would disqualify me or whatever, but I'm the new champion now.
Yep. That's right, Chad.
Yeah, because I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight. I really wanted to fight. In the first 2 rounds, he headbutted me twice in the first round. He was looking for a way out.
He didn't land anything?
Yeah, if he might have grazed me on the top of my head or something when he pushing me down or something like that, but no, he had no power. No power on his punches. Nothing. And he knew that.
John, were you
He was going to drown.
Were you surprised by anything you saw from Hopkins? Did you expect more from him than what you got?
Not necessarily. I mean, I thought that the jab would create a lot of problems for him. I thought he would hold back and you know, and not be able to get by the jab. Actually, in the dressing room, I said to Chad, when your jab is on 100%, he can't get by it, and that's exactly the way it went.
I'd like to introduce you first to George Dodd. George, I don't know if he's the head of the commission here in California.
Thanks, Gary.
And I don't know if you were here when Richard Schaefer was saying how you and your commission suck, but I think you guys are great. So, just want you to know that, just so you have all the background. Any other questions?
Chad.
Whoa, listen. One time.
Chad, I wanted to know, yes, you said that yesterday that you knew that he didn't want to fight you, and that you knew that he was scared. Well, what is it that you saw that made you think that?
Oh man, just a lot of things. He showed me a lot of things. In the last week since we've been here, I mean, you know, people try to get me riled up and get me to talk more trash, but that's not me. That's not what I do. I'm a quiet man. So, you know, in the press conference yesterday, he started screaming. I mean, he knew he couldn't get under my skin, so he tried to say anything. And when you start screaming out, I'm a gangster, you ain't a gangster, ain't no gangsters in Connecticut. Come on, man, that goes to show you right there. This guy's scared. I mean, I looked at his body after the weigh-in, man, and it was just, I knew it was over. I knew it. He knew it. He seen me, he seen my body, and there was no comparison. He walked into the ring with that, he needed to start wearing that mask first of all, because he's not an executioner. He got executed tonight in 2 rounds. He found a way out. And that's what he did.
Chad, when you realized he wasn't going to get back up, did it ever cross your mind that, you know, you would probably end up in a no contest or possibly disqualified? Did that ever go through your mind?
You know what's going through my mind? I mean, just please get up. Please get up so we can finish the fight. Don't throw it. Don't end it all like this. Cause I really put in the work for this fight. I really did. I mean, I haven't put in work. I trained 4 weeks for this guy right here. Honestly, 4 weeks. He's a 4-round fighter. I trained 4 weeks for this dude right here. I trained 5 weeks for Diakono. But that goes to show you what I got in my tank and what I can do.
Go ahead, Chad.
By the way, just I
4
want to
weeks.
clarify.
How long you train? 3 months?
I want to clarify something because I'm a former member of the New Jersey Boxing Commission. He did not
knocked out this time.
He did not throw Hopkins down.
You're gonna get knocked out this time.
Pascal.
You're gonna get knocked out
Don't
this
make me
time.
get you evicted. I'm a former member of the New Jersey Commission. He did not take his hands and throw Hopkins off him. He did not foul Hopkins at all. Hopkins got on his back and he rolled over and Hopkins went off. The answer is what we said all along. Hopkins did not come to fight tonight. He saw an easy way out and he took it. Next question. Are you pressed?
Yes. How would Chad, this question's for Chad. How would you have felt if the tables were turned and you were in the position and you actually were pushed over on the ground, whether it was intentional?
He wasn't pushed over.
No, I'm just saying whether it was intentional or not. And do you think he was faking when he was on the ground hurt?
Look at the replay. He fell on his back. He fell on his back.
Chad, where to get up?
Chad.
Next question.
Question for Chad and John. In the pre-fight instructions in the dressing room, did they go over the rules about if a fighter's injured, but not from a foul, that it'll be ruled a TKO? Were they clear with you guys? Did it seem like the other camp seemed to think that they were a bit in the dark about it?
No, what we were concerned about in the dressing room when the referee came in to give us instructions, exactly what you saw in the first round. Hopkins charging with his head, using his head. That's all we were concerned about. I said it at the after the weigh-in at the rules meeting in Hollywood, and everybody heard me clearly. So
I'm just curious because the rules are always different. I was wondering if
the rules aren't different. The rules are the
I'm
same.
not criticizing you. I'm trying to find out if Hopkins was going for a no contest.
I don't know. You got to go ask Hopkins what was in his mind when he did that. He came to fight. I can tell you that. He came to fight. He's disappointed. He's disappointed. He came to show the fans and all the critics that he's here and who he is and what his skills are. Unfortunately, he didn't get the opportunity to show it.
Gary, in alluding to getting a match with John Pascal right away, and Chad also stating the unsatisfaction in the Hopkins bout, does that mean you're not interested in giving him a rematch?
Giving who? Hopkins? Yeah. Probably, I have to speak to Chad and the team, but we have to get the exact time that we chased Hopkins around the world, and we want to probably want to return the favor. I think this young man, luckily enough, is going to get another payday because Chad wants to show that he is the best light heavyweight in the world, and Pascal is on his drawing board, and as soon as he called Hopkins a pussy, he turned to me and said, I want Pascal next. So, Pascal, if the money's right, you're next, buddy. You don't even have to get up and say anything. You're next. I can't tell you. You know, first I gotta go on the HBO floor and shake them down.
Mohammed Mubarak, Chad, with the Los Angeles Central. My question is, once you settle the score with Pascal, would you consider a fight with Tavares Cloud, the IBF light heavyweight champion?
Like I said, I'm ready for anybody. I take care of Pascal, who's ever, just line him up, I'm gonna knock him down. Trust me.
Right, Chad!
First of all, I've never done any fighter in my life. I went to Canada and fought this dude over here, but I didn't even have to, and I did it. And I went back the second time. But I go to I fight anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Is it, for the rematch with Pascal, is it crucial that it be U.S. based, or are you willing to go back to Canada?
We will sit down. I'll tell you exactly how it works. First, I will talk to Herman. Herman is the conduit to Chad and his family. That will make the decision. I will put all our options on the table. If we go to somewhere in Canada, we're going to get X and we're going to earn X. If we go in the United States, we're going to get Y and earn Y. What do you want to do? For me, it's all the same. I have the best light heavyweight in the world. Wherever we go, I believe we're going to go out victorious. I have a much different relationship with the Canadian Commission today than I did before that fight. But that fight will be made strictly by Chad and his family, and I will execute that decision.
Hey Chad, I wanted to ask you, how much do you feel that Bernard has left, given the fact that it wasn't much time to see what you had in those 2 rounds, but how much do you think he has left now?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing when you beat this guy twice. Yeah, nothing. Honestly, I'm being honest. I'm being truthful. Nothing.
Yes.
We were all in Las Vegas in 1990. Got a no contest when you just late.
Same,
you think you were
right.
trying to do the same thing?
100%.
My children.
Truthfully, I was trying to figure out in my mind when that was, and you know, but I thank you as a historian. Yeah, same thing tonight. Same thing tonight. They just an instant replay, just years later.
Yeah, Chad, after things are cleaned out at 75, would you consider maybe going down at a catchweight, fighting the Super 6 winner at 72, 71? You're going to stay at 75?
I mean, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not interested in the catchweight. I mean, I'm pretty sure those guys will be coming up at light heavyweight soon, so I'm gonna just stay there.
Would you consider fighting one of those guys when they clean out 68 if they
Yeah,
come
if they'll come up, if Ute will come up, or Ward will come up, or any of them will come up, then he'll fight him. Chad's never ducked anybody. There's not a fighter. The only fight that we turned down is I didn't want to go to Romania to fight Diacono. You know, I know how to count. At least I learned that in school. At least, you know. So there was not a chance we were going to Romania. The question is, will Chad be more aggressive in fights going forward?
Yes, I mean, it's not in my nature to be aggressive. You know, I'm more of a laid-back, slick boxer type. But I mean, I'm stronger than a lot of these guys. I'm stronger than a lot of people think. And Bernard figured that out tonight. And I mean, going forward, me and Scully, Winky Wright's invited back to training camp whenever, man. Even though I know he got other stuff, he's about to get back in the ring, but we definitely can see a more aggressive and more hungry Chad Dawson. Positive.
Dan?
I can't see you, Chad. I'm over here, Chad.
Dan Raphael. Look how he stands up for you. You could have walked this way. It's all right. You're my son. You're all right.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Because of the way that the fight, even though you know that you believe that it was not a foul and that it was perfectly legit, you got the knockout. But because of how it ended and how short it went, and not really much had happened in those first 1.5, 2 rounds, do you feel like a champion after that? As opposed to you beat a Glenn Johnson or you beat a solid.
Tell him, Chad.
I definitely feel like a champion because, like I said, we chased Bernard for 3 years, and that shows why he didn't want to fight me for 3 years. That goes to show right there. He found a way out. He didn't have to take any punishment. Still get a check. So.
Champion free!
All right, I want to